Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today is going to be a great review of the new Propel Star Wars licensed drones. Now there's 3 available so far: 74Z speeder bike, SW X-Wing. There's also the SW TIE Advanced. And these are like collector's items, so they're not super cheap, but they're really cool if you're a Star Wars fan like me, totally a fanatic, and so this really excites me. Now these ones are cool. These ones can actually do, they shoot lasers, and you can actually see the lasers at night. So this will be awesome. I'm going to do some battles. Maybe I'll get my son involved to help me fly these, and we'll have like a nighttime battle, and I'll do another video with that. But this video is going to be all about unboxing, inspecting them, setting them up, flight test with these ones in the same video. I've already taken one just out of the main box, so we'll do this one first. This is the speeder bike. And first of all, let's go check out the box here. So we can see that we have 2 different kinds of controllers. So I'm assuming the controller, one's like a Rebel controller if you have a kind of a Rebel craft, and then one's the Imperial controller if you have an Imperial craft. Of course, it's Disney because Disney took over Star Wars. So anyway, here we go. So first of all, taking apart the top here, opening it up. And we're just kind of introduced with a piece of plastic in a bag. So it's just a bag with the whole box inside of the bag. So let's go ahead and pull all this out. Now this is a full-on collector's item, and whenever you have collector's items like this, you're gonna have all this cool packaging, and you know, it looks like it's got some cool stuff going on here. So first of all, on the top we got this card. Tells you how to open the box, where you use like a box cutter and you're undoing the seal and opening this up. So here it is, guys. This is it. So let's go ahead and take this first plastic cover off here and see what we're getting. Whoa, almost dropped it on the floor already. Anyway, check this out. Looks like it's like a 2-piece speeder bike. Looks like a wax seal here. Not sure if we'll have to cut this. I kind of wanted just to pull it up so I can kind of leave the seal intact there. The 74Z speeder bike, high performance drone, new reverse propulsion blade system, achieves speed over 35 miles per hour. Multiplayer battle game with other Propel Star Wars battling drones, push button aerial stunts, multi-speed setting for beginner to advanced pilots, 2.4 gigahertz controller included. Each ship is highly detailed, hand-painted, and numbered. Special edition collector's box with light-up display case, age 14 plus. Wow, so it's got a display case built in, which I didn't think it did. I thought that was just for the display and like some of the unveilings I saw online. But anyway, let's go ahead and try to pull this open. Let me just see if I can possibly just pull like the bottom of this. There we go. So it looks like it is kind of a seal, but you can pull it from the tape, it seems, on the bottom if you wanted to. So you don't have to break that seal. There we go. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Just the right way. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? What the f? What? Look at this. Oh my god. Holy shit. This is awesome. Are you guys hearing this? It's got the whole beginning of the Star Wars theme. It's playing right now. Let's go ahead and take off this glass. Oh my goodness. What the? Holy cow, guys. I don't know how to turn it down. It's playing like the whole intro theme to Star Wars. Look at this guy on the bike. Oh my god. I'm like getting goosebumps right now. Here he is. Speeder bike rider and the drone. Look at this. Wow. And then it kind of fades out into the when the music stops. Oh my gosh. So this is pretty dang amazing, man. I think I swore a couple of times there on the front, so in the beginning, so I'll go ahead and beep that out. But look at this thing, light up case. Oh my gosh, let's look inside the back. Look at those LED lights are in there. It's got a whole like sound system in here. Let's like lift this thing up. Wow, so they did a really amazing job for collectors. And it's got this clear display case. Looks like with this, you see these speaker ports on the outside, on one side of it. Look at that. Let me just see how this thing works really quick. So it must have like a magnetic sensor or something, because check this out. I close it up. The lights are must be going off. So let's go ahead and open it one more time and see what if it starts off with the same song again. What? No. It's the speeder sequence from the movie. Are you kidding? What the? This is amazing. What the? What? Jesus. It's like you're in the movie. Oh. Oh my God. This is amazing, guys. I'm just gonna let it play and then we'll check it out. And that was it. It stopped. But did you see that? That's freaking awesome, man. Pardon my French, but I've got like goosebumps, and I'm just amazed at the presentation. The presentation, I can't even talk right. I'm amazed at the presentation that they put into this thing. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. It looks like the guy here, the speeder bike, and the trooper are just held in by these little rubber guys here to hold the motors in. And we can see here, let's just further inspect this before we get into the rest of the unboxing here. So check this out. So little upside down motors. These are brushed motors, so these are not brushless. Here's the little speeder guy. Looks like you can take them off. I'm not going to take them off right now, but he is a separate piece. Looks like you just have to pull the handles out and you can take him off. But look at the detail on this thing. Really nice amount of detail here. Everything, it says it's hand painted, so I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but if you crash a bunch of times, you know, you may crash and burn with that. This may break after a while, but it looks pretty flexy, so maybe not. But look at the detail on the bottom. Very impressed. It looks pretty good. Looks like they spent a lot of time, you know, making sure it looked pretty accurate. So we're gonna have LED lights on the back, and then looks like there's a little laser in the front, like a little laser emitter or LED or something in the front. And then this one looks like that's where it's gonna pick up if you do like laser tag with these and do a battle. So pretty darn cool, man. It's looking really nice. I can't believe I actually have this, all three of these. This is I'm so amazed. This is great. For like a Star Wars fan, oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm just gonna set this guy on the side here. And let's continue on opening this thing up. So it's like this little pod here. Not really sure how to turn off the light. I guess you gotta close the box to turn it off because it has that magnetic sensor. I guess we'll look at that in a second. But anyway, further unboxing it. So pulling this guy up, and then the rest of the box here is empty. Let's see what we get. So these flaps just flap up here, and then there's like 3 boxes that are inside of this one big box. So let's see what these are. Actually, there's like 4 boxes. Wow, this is so cool. Okay, so this box here is just a filler box, it looks like. This box here, oh, training cage is what it's saying on this box. Oh, okay, yeah, so there is something in here. I guess I should read the words on the boxes. Okay, so it's like propeller guards. So you can put that on if you want. I probably won't, but if you're flying around the house and you're gonna be banging into things, put that on. This box here, it says controller. And check this out. Imperial insignia. And it's got this nice plastic molding in the box. Looks to me like you're gonna need a screwdriver to open up these two Phillips screws. And it's kind of looking like there's an audio jack in here. Not sure if that's a charging jack or an audio jack. It looks more like an audio jack to me. There's also a speaker, so maybe you can put on some headphones and be listening to Star Wars sound effects and everything while you're flying this thing. 2 triggers on top. There's actually 4 buttons up here. Here's another little compartment here. Oh, wow, what? This thing actually has FPV or something? I didn't know these had FPV. That's cool. So you got a little FPV holder for your phone. So that's kind of the, whoa, that kind of actually gets pretty big. Looks like you're not going to fit like a tablet, but you're going to fit a large, very large phone in here. Looks like maybe up to like 6 inch. So that's cool. So that's the rotation. You can't go back, but it hinges up front to 90 degrees almost. And then it just spring loads and clicks back into the controller when you're not using that. And then the 4 trigger buttons on top, these are actually clickable on the bottom, these V-shaped ones, and then also there's 2 on the top. So that's going to be probably for like our flips, our changing rates, our firing. And we got these little gray ones here. These are 4 gray buttons. And then this looks like the power button here. So it's a clickable button, and then I'm seeing there's some light around there, and then there's a little lanyard if you want to. Got some rubber here on the handles for some grip. So actually a very nice, well done controller. So another box here, wall charger and batteries. Wow. Okay, what? These are the batteries? Oh, neat. So they're little proprietary batteries that actually go in underneath the rider. You can see here how it's got the pins for where it's gonna charge. And let's see if we can see what this battery is. Okay, cool. So at least they kind of label it. So it's in the vents here. So it's saying Propel battery information, has a number, 800 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt. Then as far as changing the battery, apparently you have to put a battery in here first. There's not a battery already in there. It looks like you just push the rider up like this. You can take them off the handlebars if you want, but just for quick, easy access, rotate them up like that. Right here, you push it up, and you see how that opens the whole seat. And then you pull the whole seat off, and that's where you're popping your battery in. And then to close it back up, you push the notch into the front. There's a little notch here and a tab. Put the seat on, and then just push this thing back. Just like this, and it snaps, and your battery's all set. Push your rider down, and you're ready to go. Here's the charger. So kind of a neat looking little slot charger, and you just shove it in there and charge your battery up, just like that. You're gonna feel a little bite to it. So the power plug is probably gonna be on this side. And let's just open this up. Yeah, so we have a little USB to power port here. So see how one side's USB, one side's going to plug into the charger there. And then they also give you a wall adapter that you can plug your USB port in right there. And then over here, one more box is extra accessories, it's saying. So let's just open this guy up. Wow, what? They're giving you extra front. How many of these do you get? Holy cow, look at this. So you're getting a whole bunch of stuff in here. So in case you break your front cowling there, look at that. It's a whole new one. We got screws, extra screws and washers for, I guess, if you lose some, for the mounting things. Here's the propellers. So the crystal clear propellers are gonna kind of make it so you can't really see them. They're gonna be kind of invisible. And how many do they give us? Not 8, but 6. In that package. Okay, so these are extra handlebars, it looks like. 2 sets of extra ones, so I guess they've found that maybe if you crash a few times, these will break off. Give you a whole new rider. So look at that. So in case you lose or break this guy, you get a whole extra one. And here's another set of 6 propellers. That's cool. Here's some more stuff here. So this is going to be, you know, for down there on the feet. It looks like you get, looks like this is only 1 set of the feet, and then you actually get 1 little gun in this package as well. That's pretty awesome. And then look at this thing. So this is a hefty little, it feels like it's steel or aluminum or something like that. And this looks like a propeller removing tool. It's pretty hefty little, it's just like a prong thing here, so you can, you know, remove your propellers on the bottom. Just pop them right off. So pretty darn cool, man. I'm really impressed with all the stuff they're giving you in the box, and it kind of figures because this thing is not cheap, so I'm very happy that they're giving all that stuff. High performance battling drone instruction manual. So let's just open this up real quick. You know, this is going to be kind of the same for all of them, probably very similar. We get this sleeve, and then here we go, Imperial Flight Manual. That's great. So it's showing us the 3 they have available right now. The speeder bike, the TIE Advanced TIE Fighter, and there's the X-Wing. So those are the 3 available now. I can't wait for the Millennium Falcon to be out. But it's kind of telling you all the display case functions. Oh, okay, cool. So you can actually charge the display case with the provided charger. You see how it's saying you can plug into the back socket to even charge the display case. So that's awesome, man. I'm loving this. The one thing I didn't see in the box was a screwdriver. So that's too bad that they didn't include a screwdriver. It seems like they would have. Is it in the controller? It's in the controller. Okay, my bad. It's right here. Check this out. I should have known, man. I didn't think they wouldn't give you a screwdriver. Look at that. The screwdriver just pops out, kind of like a stylus in one of those Samsung type of phones. And there you go. Handy little screwdriver. Don't lose that, because that'll enable you to just take this off right here. That's great, man. They thought of everything on this. Unscrewing, we'll just go ahead and do it real quick. Since I got the screwdriver out already. It's a little bit of a small screwdriver, so you don't have much leverage, but it seems to be doing the job. And then of course you just want to make sure you don't lose these screws. This slides up, and there we go. We're just pushing our batteries in right in there. 4 AA's, 2 on each side. And that's really it. Whoa. That was weird. I'm feeling vibration in the controller.
Good. Your hate has made you powerful.
What?
Now, fulfill your destiny and install 4 AA batteries
What?
in the battery compartment.
Are you kidding me? This just keeps getting better and better, man. Look at this. Okay, so this thing lit up. May the force be with you. Oh my gosh. These guys have got little surprises everywhere that I just keep getting chicken skin. So you open that up and it gives you that message, man. That's so awesome. Okay. If you guys are Star Wars fanatics and you love collecting Star Wars things, this is a must-have in my book so far. Of course, I haven't even flown anything yet, but check this stuff out, man. Oh my gosh. Just getting the chills over and over again. Holy cow. Okay, that was a surprise. Very cool. So I think that kind of wraps it up. Let me see what the controls are. So there's this little black sheet that kind of pops out here. So your life LEDs, so you get hit, it looks like you get hit 3 times, and your life's gonna, you know, it's either gonna light up or go down. It looks like while you're flying, you can calibrate the gyro with this button, turn off and on LEDs with that button. I thought this was track selection, but I'm not sure. We'll have to try that out in the flight test. Barometric pressure sensor on or off. So that's what that little thing is here on the side. So it looks like you go ahead and click it, and it can stay up or it can stay down. So you can turn that on or off. Definitely probably want that on unless you're trying to fly really fast and you have really good control. Okay, weapons fire. So the bottom right trigger is weapons fire clockwise roll. On the top trigger, of the right, counterclockwise roll on the left top trigger, speed change. So that's going to be your rate from slow to high, speed change on the bottom left trigger. So that's pretty cool, man. I want to see what this phone clamp is for. So yeah, so I'm not sure how to use the smartphone holder. I'm going to have to double check that. Really, all it tells you about the smartphone, as far as I can see, the holder, is that it just is there, but it doesn't really say anything about that. So these are like upside down propellers. So the way we put them on is you just push them like this, and if I'm doing this correctly, as far as what I know for propellers is the front, they're going to spin into the front. So you want to make sure that top edge is up towards the craft, so that when it's spinning this way, it's pushing the air down. So pretty cool. So if you have like the guards off, look at that. You can barely see the propellers. They're nice and clear. So you get this really cool invisible propeller effect. Okay, so I've got the propellers all mounted up, and let's go ahead and charge all this stuff up, go out and do our flight test. We'll probably be doing one in the house, and I may go outside and do some outside flight as well. So let's go fly this thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the Speed Biker for a ride here, and just putting in the battery. Here's how we do this. So we just flip up the rider, and then we want to push up this little tab here. You can see how that opens up. Then we take off the little dummy cover, and each battery kind of has its own seat. So we just push that down in, and you can see how it turns on. I don't want to go ahead and push it all the way down just yet, because I want to make sure I have everything ready to go.
Good.
And we're greeted with the Emperor, and then I'm gonna go ahead and push in the battery and latch it into place just like that. Slide down the rider, and you can hear the volume is pretty loud on the controller. Let's go ahead and bind it first, actually. So up.
Attempt to activate. You do not have access to this vehicle.
Okay, maybe I've got the wrong one. So I think I have the TIE Fighter controller. Let's try this one.
Speeder bike.
There we go.
Engaged. Ready for launch.
So you heard speeder bike engaged. So apparently it won't let you bind between crafts. You can see how that it knew that that was not the speeder bike one. So cool. So we're ready to go. If we want to kind of turn down the music or whatever, you hold in both buttons,
Music off.
and then you can turn the music off here if you wanted to.
All sounds off.
All sounds off.
One.
Track 1. And then these two, when you're in music mode, these ones are actually turning up and down the volume. And we'll
Track 2.
choose our tracks. Okay, cool. So if you just leave it for a while, it goes ahead and gets out of music mode. So we can have that playing if we want, and like I said before, is you can also plug in your headphones if you want to have private music. What you want to do is, first of all, just go ahead and kind of put it on a super level surface and press this button up top.
Distance check complete.
It goes ahead and it does like a level calibration. So I would do that if you know you have a level surface. Do that. I would do that each time before you fly. And then to launch, all we should need to do is hold this button down. There we go. So you can see it just does an auto hover launch. Looks like it's drifting a little to the left, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. If we gain or lose altitude, you can see the lights blink. Pushing forward or back, the lights just kind of stay the same. Give it a close-up look of it really quick here. So there's our lighting and stuff. So we got these lights in the back, no really lights in the front, and then we have this one tail light in the back here. And then if you wanted to go into like battle mode, you are going to hear these sound effects if you're not in battle mode. If I press the right trigger, you can hear the firing. But if we wanted to go into battle mode, we go ahead and we hold this this left silver button here. Do your lights, and then if you hold it, it says weapon systems activated, and then for some reason it turns off the red light on the back. But now when we fire, you see that orange light on the front? See it there underneath? There's an orange light that's now shooting the laser tag. So that's how we turn on the battle mode, so you can battle the other crafts, which I'll be doing with my son shortly. So if you're not going to be battling, just turn that off by holding in this button here. You hear it say weapon system deactivated, and then we get the red light back on the front. So anyway, let's go ahead and go into rate 2. We're in rate 1. You can see how docile it is. That's full stick forward, full stick left and right. Doing really good. Want a higher speed of flight? We go ahead and press the left bottom trigger. You hear 2 beeps, and you can see that our pitch and our roll are a little more aggressive. And by the way, this thing has kind of a more of an easy altitude hold mode. As you can see, it's trying to hold its altitude. It's drifting a little bit to the left, but it's trying to hold its altitude. You're going to get some fluctuation. I guess it's using, you know, like a barometer or something to hold its altitude. So it's not that great. But this one has, it says it's like altitude hold mode or not. So you press this little roller up and down. Anyway, so let's go ahead and switch into rate 3, pushing that lower trigger again, and this is supposed to be the fastest flying. So you can see how quick it flies. If we full pitch forward, it's really got a lot of pitch for fast flight. There's a yaw rate. So let's go ahead and yaw in each rate. So I'm going to pull full stick to the left or right, and then hit the left trigger again. There's our full yaw on rate 1, rate 2, and rate 3 is they're all faster. So that's great. So we gain speed and pitch and yaw in all 3 rates, and it has a really good ability to kind of hold its altitude pretty good while you're flying fast. Unless you do like a quick stop like that, it's going to drop a little bit. But you see how it's getting back up to its remembered altitude. So apparently these have a little barometer on board, so that's pretty awesome. So it's pretty neat listening to all this music and stuff and hearing all the sound effects while I'm flying. I will have the flight time pop up on the screen at the end, so you guys can kind of see how long these things last. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights again, just by pressing that button, just to save a little battery power if you don't need those lights on. It does leave the rear tail light on, as you can see. But this thing is pretty solid. Being that it has like downward props that are pushing the air down directly attached to the motor, it does fly very well. Let's go into the flips. I don't think I did any flips yet. So I'm going to let it kind of hover here and then just hit the right trigger. So the controller just vibrated, and Darth Vader said most impressive. So there's little comments like that throughout when you're flying. If you do like full pitches and left and right rolls, it has some comments on the controller as well. It's pretty funny. Anyway, left roll. That was the Emperor again saying good. So you get little comments like that throughout. So pretty neat. Let's just go ahead and kind of fly it kind of fast and see how it controls, like in circles and stuff. So you can see how precise these things are. Really easy to fly. I'm gonna try to fly outside in a little bit. It's a little bit rainy out there right now. The rain just looks like it's stopping and the sun's coming out, but I will try to get some outside flight in this review. Of course, you don't want to fly in too much wind, but look how easy this thing is to control. Figure eights are like no problem for this thing. Of course, you got to kind of know your orientation. Whoa! And if you're new, put on those propeller guards so you don't hurt anybody. I almost hit my face there. but still in control. Let's try to go around this light. Yeah, real easy, solid flyer. Wow. There's like a pirouette funnel there. Now, okay, so we're getting a beep on the thrusters there. So that means we're in low voltage. So it should be landing shortly. I'm pushing full up on the throttle and it's going ahead and landing. And then as soon as it touches the ground, it's really good at just shutting off the propellers. So you're not going to get any kind of, propellers digging into the ground and keep spinning for whatever you're doing. It has a really good sensor to shut those off. The soundtrack looks like it's still going on the controller, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off the controller. I get a vibration, and then we can hear the engine shutdown sound. So pretty awesome for this speeder bike, man. I'm really into this stuff, and it was really fun to fly this. I think anybody that's a Star Wars fan is going to be absolutely thrilled with this. But I'm reviewing these all individually, so there'll be a separate video for each one, so don't forget to check out those separate videos. Anyways, let's go outside and fly this thing a little bit. Alright guys, we're at the park with the Propel speeder bike from Star Wars. And this is going to be fun. I think the speeder bike was probably one of my favorites out of the three I've been reviewing. Propel has three different ones, the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter, and this speeder bike. I think they will be coming out with a brushless Millennium Falcon soon, and I'll also be reviewing that when that comes out. But let's just see, we did the inside review in the house, and I wanted to see how it flies outside, like in a park. Just in case you wanted to take it outside, this will give you an idea of how it flies. I am having like a variable 5 mile per hour coming from this direction, blowing towards me here. So it'll give you an idea of how it is in a little bit of wind. It's kind of died down now. But let's go ahead and start this thing up, see how it does, and we'll do a little pros and cons afterwards. Just using the instruction manual off of one of them just to launch on. Power, holding in the power. Good. For a couple of seconds. We're hearing the Emperor comment, and then we're hearing some Star Wars music, which is so awesome to me. Okay, so this is altitude hold mode, where we've got spring-loaded throttle. We can take that off by pushing it up, and then you have more of a manual throttle. I'm just going to start an altitude hold, so binding up and down. Saying speeder bike engaged. To launch in altitude hold mode, you have to hold in this button. And there he goes. Awesome. So they all start off in rate 1. And I'm going to switch immediately into manual mode just by pulling this roller down, or up actually, and clicking it. So I have a little bit more throttle response, you know what I mean? For when you get better, go ahead and click that off and you'll have a more fun of an experience. So listening to Star Wars music playing and flying this thing around is really cool. This thing does feel more stable than the X-Wing so far and the TIE Fighter, only because it doesn't have any wings to mess it up, you know. It's got that front little laser wing on it, but very minimal compared to the other ones, so it's not going to be influenced by wind, and the turning should be better. So let's get a close-up shot of this in the daylight here at the park before we go ahead and speed around with it. You can see how awesome this thing looks. Really gives you that feeling of realism. And it's flying really good so far. Let's go ahead and switch into rate 2. Left trigger bottom part. Wow, this one flies way better than the other ones. Oh yeah. I'm not getting that hardcore flutter. Whoo! And it's faster because there's no, wing resistance, I should say. So we're getting comments from it while we fly. A little bit of flutter when you turn hard and slow down, but not nearly as bad as the other two, X-Wing and TIE Fighter. This is rate 2. Let's go ahead and flip into rate 3 right now. A little bit more pitch. Wow, it seems like it gives you a really good pitch variation on the speed. Oh! So that was full throttle, like straight into the wind. and pitch in rate 3, and you could see how it was getting pushed down. So that kind of stuff may happen. It's like the rider his feet kind of came off a little bit. So I'm just going to push him back in nice and easy. But he's on there. Let's try to go ahead and relaunch. So in manual mode, you should be able to just push up the stick without having altitude hold mode on. So if we just push up, you see how he just launches like manual. So still in rate 3, let's just zoom around with this guy and do a range test in a second. Full throttle and full pitch forward. Yeah, so he will drop, so be careful. Coming with the wind or going into the wind, there'll be some drop in rate 3. Still super cool. There's our yaw rate. And let's go ahead and switch back into rate 2 and do a range test. So I'm going to go straight out this way in front of me. And if it's anything like the other two, you can fly it all the way until you can't see it anymore and it's still in range. I'm just holding the controller up like chest height, rocking left and right. And that's like 200 feet and I can barely see it. It's just a black dot. So I'm going to come on back. Full speed backwards. Rate 2. Woo! This thing is awesome. So out of the 3, man, this has got to be my favorite. Whoa! That was close. I almost took my head off with that one. Alright. So just going to fly around until the battery dies. Just so we get a feel of, you know, how this thing is completely. Back into rate 3. Well, we actually didn't do any flips. So let me do some flips. The right top trigger. Awesome. The Emperor's telling me good on the controller. So it flips nice and easy. You can see it there doing its flips. Flips really well. Quick and easy little flips. Ooh, so you can be going while you're doing flips. It doesn't matter if you have right stick input. It'll still do a roll when you're moving. Oh, see that there? So I was going a little too fast and too low and I tried to do a flip. But I dove straight into the grass there and this thing must have bent, but no breakage yet. So that's promising. Pretty durable. The cool thing about this is they give you a bunch of extra parts with the speeder bike. They give you more extra parts for this than they do with the other craft, so that's also cool. Okay, so still flying around. I think we pretty much have done everything. Switching into rate 3, let's do some hard turns just to see if we get that same kind of flutter at all. You get just a little bit, you see that? It does a little flutter, quick little one, but not nearly as bad as the other two craft. So that's really promising. Oh man, this thing is awesome. Can't wait for the Millennium Falcon, the brushless version. I love listening to Star Wars music and flying this thing. It just gives me the chills. It's so cool. Awesome. Let's try to do a flip. Oh, that was a laser. You can still do, this isn't in battle mode, but you can still shoot, have that laser sound if you want to. You know what I mean? If you wanted to hear that. Try another flip when we're going forward. Okay, forward and flip. Yeah! Wow, so if you're going too fast forward, it does kind of a face down flip. So be careful with that one. Try that again. Oh! Yeah, so I wouldn't go too fast and do flips, or else it like kind of does one of these and then faces down.
and then comes back up. So I'm surprised at how long this one's lasting. Maybe because it doesn't have as much wind resistance. The battery power may be more on this one. And I will have that timing pop up at the end so you can see just exactly how much flight time I had. Wow, what an experience. And don't forget, you can put headphones into this controller if you don't want the speaker playing those sounds. Put your headphones on, plug them in, and have your own little personal experience. But yeah, I'm really liking this speeder bike. Oh, yeah. And the cool thing about the front protruding plastic is it's really flexible. So even if you do hit something or somebody, it's not going to hurt them. They'll just bend, you know what I mean? This thing up front here, right here, it's real flexible and bendy. Okay, we're losing power, full throttle up, and that's going to do the battery. But how awesome was that? What a great flight, man. This has got to be my favorite of the bunch. So let's go ahead and power this down. You get the cool sound effects and vibration on power down too, and lift up the rider like that and take out the battery. And we'll go ahead and do a little pros and cons on this guy. So there, just want to lift up the battery. And so this will get us to our first pros and cons, the battery itself. So the way this works is, as you know, the battery has to push in, then it powers on. It would have kind of been nice to maybe have a little switch in there. I mean, it's not completely necessary, but you know, just because when you push this battery in, it powers on. So if you accidentally forget to remove it, you may ruin the battery, unless it has some kind of really sensor in it that cuts it off completely. But I would have liked to seen maybe something that was kind of hidden, you know, in the detail, where there was just a little switch where you could switch it off and on after you put the battery in. Now this thing is brushed motors, so eventually they may wear out, but it looks like it's easy enough to just split the top and the bottom off, pull that motor out, and put in a new motor if you wanted to. But I'd imagine these are going to last quite a while. These are quality, they look like they're quality motors. So I wouldn't really worry too much about them burning out, unless you're flying it like over and over again every day for like a month. You know, this should be fine. But more on the pros, this thing flew the best out of the three I've reviewed. I've reviewed the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. Millennium Falcon, like I said, should be coming out, and I'll be reviewing that one too. That one will have brushless motors, hopefully, so I'll get one of those and review it when that comes out. But the detail, the rider here, the way he kind of clips in, snaps in, sits down on the battery, kind of neat. The detail is really good, and it's cool that they give you extra parts. I think they give you like extra foot part here, they give you extra gun here, and I think they give you this whole extra front, you know, blaster slash wing piece, and the handlebars, if I remember correctly. So you can, if you break these, you can go ahead and screw the new ones on, and I'm sure you can order those parts separately if you want. But anyway, the full experience with this thing, you know, all these Propel things are really getting you into, they're locking you into that Star Wars feel when you're flying. You got vibration in the controller, you have comments, you have music playing, you can change your tracks, you can change the volume, you can plug in a headphones jack on this thing if you wanted to, on the bottom here, and listen to it in headphones. You can do the laser tag with another craft if you wanted to. So pretty cool, man. If you wanted to, you can take off the rider. You just go ahead and push, you know, just like any figure, you just push his hands off of the handlebars here, and you can just completely take them off if you wanted to fly it like that for some reason, or use this figure for, you know, another craft or something. And he's really light. This thing has to only be like a couple of grams. I mean, seriously, there's barely any weight to this guy. It was really well done. Putting him back on, just pushing his hands. They do give a little tension snap, his hands there, so that's kind of cool. And then when you have the battery in, I don't want to push the battery all the way down, but when you do have the battery pushed all the way down and powered on, his feet do clip into this pretty good. Anyway guys, I hope you liked that review of the Star Wars speeder bike from Propel Drones. I am doing a series on all 3 of these, so don't forget to check out my channel and check out the other reviews on these. I will have the links to this guy down in the description of the video, so don't forget to check that link, see the pricing and where you can pick this up from, and also more specs on it. But I hope you liked the review, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.